Karoline Leavitt had one of her worst press conferences ever, and it was in response to Trump, we talked about earlier in the show, saying the punishment for Democrats who posted a video reminding service members of the law. Veteran Democratic members of Congress posted a video saying, hey, U.S. law is such that you are obligated to defy brazenly illegal orders from whoever is in command of you. Trump's response was, I'll just remind you, since a lot of Leavitt's press conferences on this topic, was to say this is sedition, that they need to be locked up, and then ultimately seditious behavior punishable by death. Punishable by death. The U.S. president's calling for the death of Democrats. Now, you'll have Trump supporters going, no, he wasn't calling for the death. He was saying that that would be justified. I don't see the line there, but I remember when he said the same thing about Mark Milley. You remember the punishment in times gone by, the punishment would be death, he said about Mark Milley? And I talked to Trump supporters like, well, he didn't say we should kill him. He said it would be justified in times gone by, but we're not in times gone by. We're in times gone now. So it's not bad. Really? Really? But when Democrats say we got to put a bullseye on Trump, that's a call to violence, but not this. And he didn't even say times gone by this time. He said the punishment is death. So that's what he said in response to them making a video reminding people of their obligation to follow the law. Now watch Karoline Leavitt. At one point when she gets corrected, the press conference is over. She's walking out. So that's kind of the end imagery. But let's just start here. How, if you were his press secretary, would you respond to this? Probably what I would do is I won't speak for the president. I would pull that card. I have not heard what you're referring to. Oh, he posts on True Social. I don't follow him. It's okay, but she went a different direction. While you watch this, please do click the subscribe button if you appreciate the show. It is free, but it supports what we're doing. The non-free option, but the epic option, is the join button, which is right there near the subscribe button, and that gets you the members-only bonus show. It's pretty fun.
Nancy.
Thanks, Karoline. This morning, President Trump accused 6 Democratic lawmakers of seditious behavior punishable by death. Just to be clear, does the president want to execute members of Congress?
No. Let's be clear about what the president is responding to, because many in this room want to talk about the president's response, but not what brought the president to responding in this way. You have sitting members of the United States Congress who conspired together to orchestrate a video message to members of the United States military, to active duty service members, to members of the national security apparatus, encouraging them to defy the president's lawful orders. The sanctity of our military rests on the chain of command. And if that chain of command is broken, it can lead to people getting killed. It can lead to chaos. And that's what these members of Congress who swore an oath to abide by the Constitution are essentially encouraging. We have 1.3 active duty service members in this country. And if they hear this...
That seems a little low. 1.3 active service members. I feel like there's a little bit more than that. I feel like it's in the millions.
Radical message from sitting members of Congress, that could inspire chaos, and it could incite violence, and it certainly could disrupt the chain of command. These 3 members of Congress, I will also add, knew exactly what they were doing. You look at Alyssa Slotkin. She's a former member of the CIA. Mark Kelly was a captain in the U.S. Navy. Maggie Goodlander was a naval officer, and notably, she is also the wife.
So are you hearing what you're saying? Exactly, Karoline. When did you serve in the military? Oh, maybe they know a little bit better. When did Trump serve in the military? Oh, maybe they know a little bit better about what their legal obligation is. It's so interesting she's citing their credentials. Yeah, that's the point. They're saying we learned extensively the obligation we have to defy illegal orders, not lawful orders, illegal ones. Now, there's a lot of literature about how you define that. It's not always going to be a really clear line like my previous example of just slaughter a bunch of these kids for no reason. Do it. And then you would have the obligation to go, no, I'm not going to, despite you being my commanding officer. That's clear. But there's much more gray areas, and they get a bunch of briefings on that and taught about that. And it is complicated. And you do want to 100% lean towards following the chain of command. But if it's very clearly illegal, you do have the obligation not to. And you could be at jeopardy for following an illegal order. You maybe don't know better than them, Karoline. She's not addressing at all. This is how bad it is. She can't address at all what Trump said.
Of Joe Biden's national security former advisor, Jake Sullivan. And so these members knew what they were doing. They were leading into their credentials as former members of our military, as veterans, as former members of the national security apparatus to signal to people serving under this commander-in-chief, Donald Trump, that you can defy him and you can betray your oath of office. That is a very, very dangerous message, and it perhaps is punishable by law. I'm not a lawyer. I'll leave that to the Department of Justice and the Department of War to decide.
That was so tricky. Karoline. It is punishable by law? Okay. He said death. He said death. Not law, he said death. Would you like to speak to that part? There were obviously a lot of follow-ups.
Can I just follow up? The president and the vice president, for that matter, have accused the other side of encouraging political violence. Isn't that exactly what the president is doing when he says that members of Congress should be killed?
Why aren't you talking about what these members of Congress are doing to encourage and incite violence? They are literally saying to 1.3 million active duty
That's crazy. That's crazy to go, oh, you want to know who's inciting? Who do you think incited Trump? Sure, Trump's inciting violence. But who incited him? They did. So, transitive property, it all started with them.
Service members not to defy the chain of command, not to follow lawful orders.
Actually,
every single
can refuse an illegal order, which
they're suggesting, Nancy, that the president has given illegal orders, which he has not. Every single order that is given to this United States military by this commander-in-chief and through this chain of command, through the Secretary of War, is lawful. And the courts have proven that. This administration has an unparalleled record at the Supreme Court because we are following the laws. We don't defy court orders. We do things by the books.
Okay, then what's the problem? I disagree with you, but what's the problem then? If they're saying defy illegal orders and you're saying every order that Trump ever gives is lawful, then what's the issue? Why is Trump busting a gasket? Gasket? Over this? If everything he's doing is legal, then great, you're in the clear. Now that we address that, can you speak to what Trump said? She won't address it. No. The reporters don't have to talk about certain things. You're the one who gets asked the question. They're asking you the question of what your boss said. He's the president. Whatever you think. Let's say that a Democrat came out and openly said, defy lawful orders. Trump is still the president. And there's an extra responsibility not to go around saying people should be killed. Specifically members of Congress. Look at this next part.
Brian.
Thank you, Caroline. Two questions. We were talking about before, earlier in this briefing, about the president's orders. You were going back and forth about what the ad said, what it didn't say. My first question is...
The ad?
The advertisement that the Senate Democrats were featured in. So my first question is, no matter what the order is, it could be to any administration official, military or otherwise, no matter if legal experts might think it's illegal, does the president expect those cabinet members, administration officials to go ahead with those orders regardless of any outside thinking or experts?
The president expects his cabinet officials and the administration to follow the law and to demand accountability and hold people accountable for their dangerous rhetoric. And I would just add that if this were Republican members...
Did you just say they have the obligation to follow the law? That's what they said.
...of Congress who were encouraging members of the military and members of our United States government to defy orders from the president and from the chain of command, this entire room would be up in arms. But instead, it is the other way around, and I think that's quite telling. I'm going to let you all go because the president, excuse me, I appreciate the encouragement this morning, this afternoon, but President Trump is about to meet in minutes with Israeli hostages who this administration freed, and so I'm going to go up to that meeting, and you will hear more about that later. Thank you.
All right, Karoline Leavitt.
So you can hear at the end there, Caitlin Collins saying, you misquoted Democrats in that video. Do-do-do-do. Which is true. If what they said was so outrageous, why wouldn't you just quote them correctly? Here's that part more specifically.
And you will hear more about that later. Thank you.
You misquoted Democrats in that video. That's actually not what they said.
Thank you, Caitlin. True. If it were so clear that Trump calling for the death of people was justified because of what they said, why wouldn't you just quote them correctly? Chuck Schumer was not happy about this, as you can imagine.
Have you talk about the political rhetoric and just the dangers of this? I mean, we saw what happened. The
dangers are tremendous.
I mean, how concerned are you that this is?
We are very concerned. The trouble is, the president seems to be not only not concerned about it, but almost delighting in this kind of dangerous political rhetoric, and it's despicable.
Senator.
True. So there's Chuck, and then on a different topic, you have Leavitt being asked about the clip of Trump going, "Quiet, piggy," to a female journalist. "Quiet, piggy. Oink, oink. You're a pig." He didn't say all that, but he did say "quiet, piggy." You probably like eating mud or whatever. He didn't say that. He said "quiet, piggy." And Leavitt is here to explain to us how this kind of depicts the complexity of Trump's frankness and how he is transparent with the American people.
Tomorrow, and I'll let the president speak for himself. Natalie.
Thank you, Caroline. What did the president mean when he called a reporter piggy?
That question's wild. That question's crazy.
What
did the president mean? Does he think she was literally a pig? What did he mean? We know what he meant. But good. Thank you for asking about it, though.
And I'll let the president speak for himself. Natalie.
Thank you, Caroline. What did the president mean when he called a reporter piggy?
Look, the president is very frank and honest with everyone in this room. You've all seen it yourself. You've all experienced it yourselves. And I think it's one of the many reasons that the American people reelected this president, because of his frankness. And he calls out fake news when he sees it. He gets frustrated with reporters when you lie about him, when you spread fake news about him and his administration. But he also is the most transparent president in history. And he gives all of you in this room, as you all know, unprecedented access. You are in the Oval Office almost every day asking the president questions. And so I think the president being frank and open and honest to...
Is that what it was? He's frank and open and honest. Quiet, piggy. Kind of a weird way to explain that. Kari Lake, who we still have not seen verifiable evidence she's not AI, as producer Cole said before we started recording. I've not seen the evidence that she's a real person and that this is not an AI generated. How could AI not just generate her and that she wouldn't ever have to work again? Well, look at this. This is not a real person. 78 layered filters on this camera that she uses or whatever. So anywho, she is our little fashy hologram, and she says she loves that Trump calls female reporters piggy.
They're getting really riled up about Piggy and about Mary Bruce in the Oval Office. The context, though, matters, doesn't it?
In the program, laugh. Control, I don't know, 3-6 F laugh.
Context, though, matters, doesn't it?
Wait.
In the Oval Office. The context, though, matters, doesn't it?
It sure does. I mean, President Trump is like the guy at home yelling at his TV set when he hears these ridiculous reporters. They're not even reporters. They're propagandists. They're lie spreaders. There's not enough disdain that you can muster up for the members of the fake news that have lied.
Was that the defense she thought it was? Trump's like that guy sitting on his couch yelling at reporters. Get out my damn TV, piggy. Get out my TV, piggy. When did all these ads become biracial? When did all these ads turn queer and biracial? I can't change the channel. I'm on the Disney Channel. Everything's queer. Trump's like that. Don't you love that in your president? He's like that. Okay, Kari. I saw some MAGA accounts say, oh, they're mad about this, but not a clip of Biden.
You said I set up my son to work in an oil company.
Isn't that what you said? Get your words straight, Jack.
That's what I read on MSNBC.
You don't hear that on MSNBC. You did not hear that at all. What you heard, look, okay, I'm not going to get in an argument with you, man.
Well, I don't want to.
Well, yeah, you do, but look, Fat, look, here's the deal. Here's the deal.
So allegedly Biden said, look, Fat, here's the deal. Which, in that case, no one reacted, so I don't know if that's what he said. He could have said, Pat. Leavitt confirmed. Leavitt didn't say, no, he said Peggy. She confirmed, yeah, he said Peggy. I don't know what Biden was saying here. If he did say, and it's a guy in this case, there's a difference. There is a difference. If he did say, listen, Fat, I have a hard time denouncing that because it's so funny. Who calls someone fat? No. People call people fat. Who calls it like that's their name? Listen, Mr. Fat.
Look, Fat, look, here's the deal.
Here's the deal, Fat. I think he was probably just messing up his words trying to say Jack again. Who knows? Look, Fat. That's crazy. That is crazy.